So hi guys, CAT 2025 slot 2 paper has just gotten over, and I am here to give you some basic initial impressions that we have been able to garner based on the experiences that our faculty members and students have reported. So I have not taken the paper myself. I have taken the paper in slot 1. I am going to do the impressions for slot 2, and it is completely based on second-hand information. So please forgive me if I'm getting something wrong here. Okay. So looking at the paper, I think it's not very majorly different from slot 1. Pattern of the paper is going to remain the same. So slot 1 first impressions video has already been made. Please go and watch that if you have not watched that yet. So slot 2, with respect to VRC. Let's talk about the reading comprehension passages. I think passages were from kind of topics that CAT generally deals with. There are two passages which are science-based. And considering the fact that majority of the CAT takers are engineers, these two passages you should have been able to read a bit more easily, even if there have been a technical jargon. I feel bad for non-science students, people from commerce and arts background. They might not have found the passage, especially on astronomical instruments and measurement. Those might have had names of a lot of physicists in them and the works that they have done, which might be a subject matter which will be more familiar for science students. So there are two passages on science. One was on literature. Of course, there is always going to be a passage from the arts in the CAT paper, and this time they have given this from literature. Even the fourth passage is a kind of a science passage, but it's more of, I think, current affairs based science, so people should be aware of it. It was about OpenAI, and I think it was about the companies and the author's opinion based on it. So these are the topics of the passages, and no surprises here. And I would say that these topics don't make reading extremely difficult. It is not from very abstract topics like, you don't have anthropology or, Western history or Oriental history. You don't have geography of places that you haven't heard. You don't have psychology and going into the details of it. So at least topic wise, whatever I'm hearing from students, this is actually good for students to read. So I feel that the passages should have been simple to read, even though questions might not be absolutely simple, but I think reading of the passage, that becoming simple solves a lot of questions. So reading level, I would say I should have written easy to moderate. I've written moderate here because, of course, the language is not going to be of class 5, 6 reading level. So language and jargon were used here and there, but I think with respect to topics and reading levels, it's not something that should have felt unfamiliar to CAT students. VA, standard VA, I think the same thing was true for slot 1 also. So there are 50% of the questions which are very doable, remaining 50% you will have to think a bit. Sometimes you might not be able to get to the correct answer, even after thinking very logically through the VA questions. So very standard VRC section. And my verdict for the VRC section is it is easy to moderate. I would compare it to CAT 2024 VRC. And yes, there were some critical reasoning questions which might have made it slightly more difficult, but overall, I don't think that it's going to be a very diabolically difficult paper so as to make the cutoffs go very low. So in my opinion, I think 99 percentile for VRC will go slightly higher than for the first slot, purely on the basis of my interpretation of the topics of discussion. I think questions were as difficult, if not tougher, than say slot 1. But topics of reading of the passage, because it's slightly more easier, I would think that maybe 1 or 2 marks more than slot 1 is where the 99 percentile for slot 2 VRC will go. I estimate it to be around 43, 44, which is where last year's 99 percentile of VRC also was present at. Now comes LRDI. LRDI, different from slot 1 in the sense that there were 3 DI sets and 2 LR sets. So pure DI in slot 1, there was only one. There was only one graphical set. You can call the train ticket set a DI set as well. But beyond that, I think everything else was LR. But here we had 3 DI sets. The first one was a weighted average set on pollution index. Second, you had a percentage change Cartesian coordinate graph on sustainability index. And there was a bar chart question on number of authors for books. So some books, how many authors have written the book, which author is an author of which of the books. So that kind of matching plus a graphical kind of a set was there. So 3 DI sets and the 2 LR sets where one was you have to sort that the balls based on diameter. So different balls of different diameters, and it is a sorting kind of a set. And the last set was again a set of LR where you had to do matching and arrangement of how many students with how many gurus, which student is going to be matched with which gurus. So again, numerical logic based sets are a bit more in this year's slot 2 paper. Slot 1 had lesser amount of numerical logic, I would say, because DI set was, as I said, only one pure DI set. Here we have got 2 pure DI sets. And if you count weighted average as well, then there are 3 DI sets. So that makes this section a bit more numerical intensive than slot 1's DILR. So that is what the paper looks like in LRDA. In fact, the LR sets also, from what I'm hearing from students, were not that difficult. I heard the sorting set was actually pretty simple. Not many students have reported on the students in Guru's matching and arrangement set, but I think the sorting of the balls based on diameter was not very difficult. It was pretty doable. So my verdict for LRDI is that it is easy to moderate. I would actually go as far as saying it is easy, because I always feel that when you have got more DI, more graphical database sets where you have to do lesser trial and error, where you have to not understand an absolutely new kind of a puzzle, a new kind of a game, a new way of doing things, I think that definitely makes the section a bit more scoring. And that's why I think 99 percentile for slot 2 will definitely go higher than 99 percentile for slot 1 with respect to LRDA. VRC might be touch and go, might be slot 1. So 99 percentile may be higher, maybe slot 2 99 percentile may be higher. It was very, very comparable, but I think I'm very confident in saying that LRDI for slot 2, the 99 percentile score is definitely going to go higher. I will not be surprised if it touches 30 or goes beyond 30, because I've heard from a few students and from a few faculty members from GradSquare as well, that you will have the time to breach the third set, that going on to the third set, trying that out and even completing it is a possibility for a lot of students, especially those who have practiced LRDI well enough. So keeping that in mind, I would say that 30 looks like a realistic possibility for a 99 percentile LRDA. And if that happens, it is an unheard of kind of a cutoff before for LRDA as far as a 2-hour paper is concerned. So 3 sets absolutely possible for a 99 percentile score. Now comes Quant, very similar to the slot 1 paper with few differences here and there. It was again arithmetic and algebra heavy. 9 plus 7, 16 questions from algebra, but this time there were 3 number systems questions and 3 geometry questions, just like in slot 1, no PNC probability question. So instead of having 1 PNC probability, 1 number system question, they have increased the combination of these 2 smaller topics by 1 more question. So 3 questions, number systems, and none from, say, permutation, combinations, and probability. But flavor of the paper is still arithmetic and algebra. There is no curve balls thrown by the CAT paper. It's not suddenly that they've given too many geometry questions, but three geometry questions still is, I think, something that you would expect in the paper. So again, nothing unexpected. Also, arithmetic being the number 1 topic in terms of volume is always good news for the students, and that is why I have rated the QA section as easy. People have said that the questions of arithmetic were very doable. In fact, if someone had only practiced arithmetic and had not even prepared for any of the remaining topics, I've heard from people that they can easily solve 5 questions and get 15 marks from arithmetic only. So that is always good news. Plus, I think slot 1 was a bit more calculation intensive. I heard from students that yes, there were some calculation intensive questions, like there was a compound interest question, and maybe in some ratio based questions, you had to do multiple different steps, which was there in slot 1 as well, which was a mixtures question. But it was not as calculation intensive as slot 1 paper. We did not have to use the calculator extensively like in slot 1. So that makes the paper slightly more, this section slightly more easier again than slot 1. And I think it's a very student-friendly paper, supposed to make the students very happy. But if that's going to happen, of course, cutoff is going to go higher. I would say that 33 marks looks like a possible 99 percentile cutoff. Even 36 is possible. There have been years where 12, 13 questions have been the 99 percentile attempt for the quant section. And maybe this year, we might be looking at 11 to 12 with 100% accuracy number of attempts in the quant section from really talented students, considering that it's so arithmetic heavy. Overall verdict, I would say that the paper was easy. The slot was easy. It was slightly easier than slot 1. I see the 99 percentile of slot 2 going by 5 marks more, about 5 marks more than the 99 percentile of slot 1, purely because of LRDA. I think LRDA section is going to be a difference maker in terms of level of difficulty. I don't think Quant was way more easier or VRC was way more easier. It's just my initial impression telling me that probably slot 2 is a bit more easier. But I won't be surprised if VRC and Quant are very comparable to that of slot 1. LRDA, from all angles, when we look at the kind of feedback that I'm getting from students, I feel that LRDA is going to be the difference creator, which is going to push up the 99 percentile score for slot 2 by 5 more marks. 95 marks, and you are staring at a 99 percentile. So that's all from me in this video. Stay tuned for slot 3 analysis. Thank you.